Hey people, it's Nias talking. Now I'd like to partially thank BGS Ibmore because something he said inspired me to start reporting on this story. So here it goes, this is from BBC. As a black woman in STEM, I'm used for photo opportunities. Science, technology, engineering, and mechanics. That's what STEM means. When Cynthia Chappell was asked to help out with a photograph of a research professor and his staff, she assumed that she would be the one taking the photo. The image was going to be used by the professor for a grant application. Ms. Chappell, then a chemistry researcher at a US university, didn't work with his team directly and had minimal interactions with them personally. Yet, when she arrived to take the photo, she was pulled in front of the camera alongside the team. Confused, she smiled for the picture before an uncomfortable realization dawned on her. She looked around her. The research team were all white men, and she was the only black woman in the photo. This was an example of Photoshop diversity when black women are used for Photoshop opportunity, she tells the BBC. I was being used to show he worked in an inclusive team and to secure him funding. I was embarrassed. The 31-year-old grew up in an inner-city neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. She grew up in a large family with 7 siblings. Her whole universe existed within a 2-block radius. Her father worked as a security guard and her mother worked as a nursing assistant. Cynthia's school, her extended family, and all her friends were just 5 minutes away, and evenings were spent exploring the neighborhood. I would make lists of ways to improve the neighborhood, she says. I would count the number of liquor, alcohol stores, unused lots in the area, and write up proposals on what they could be replaced with in order to improve the area. I was data gathering. When she was aged 9 years old, a particularly passionate teacher ignited in her a love of maths. Mr. Estes was a young black teacher who I wanted to impress. He was my entry to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Through him, she was introduced to science, summer camps, and extracurricular clubs, and she fell in love. I was the only black girl in those clubs, she recalls. There weren't really a lot of activities around STEM that you could do in my neighborhood, so I found myself sort of leaving my Southside community and going elsewhere to get exposure to certain activities. But leaving the South Side of Chicago didn't mean she found more women interested in STEM. She still felt in a minority while studying for her bachelor's degree in chemistry at Purdue University in Indianapolis. Things were no different when she went to another university to study for her master's. I was one of 2 American-born black students, she says. When she graduated and became a research chemist, she noticed another trend, that she couldn't see women of color, especially black women, rising to higher ranks in U.S. academia, especially in STEM fields. Cynthia says she put this situation down to the intersectional Leaky Pipeline, her spin on the so-called Leaky Pipeline, which is a metaphor for the progressive loss of competent women from senior positions in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Researchers say that the Leaky Pipeline refers to women, and particularly women of color, facing many barriers and obstacles to advance further in the field, from childcare obligation to fewer promotion opportunities. Pew Research from 2021 says that black people made up only 9% of all STEM-related workforce in the US, and that number has not changed since 2016. Well, that's not quite as bad as some other disparities if the official figures are correct that they're 13%, so that's less than a lot of other fields, but that's still lower than it should be. Similarly, according to the American Psychology Association, women of color make up only 2.3% of tenured permanent university teaching staff in the US, whereas white women make up 23.4%. Cynthia had an idea while doing her master's in 2015 that she would create a club to pull more women like her into the world of science. By 2018, Black Girls Do STEM became an after-school community in St. Louis, Missouri, where she now lives. The aim of the club is to give middle and high school black girls from inner cities a chance to emotionally engage with science and apply it to real life. We design our classes around what they like, what they need, their interests, she says. We have classes showing the girls how to make lip balm as part of a cosmetic chemistry module, or it could be where we look at household products and test their pH. The fortnightly classes used to be held in person but have moved online through the pandemic. We wanted to be an immersive experience, she adds. Currently, around 100 girls take part in Black Girls Do STEM. Ms. Chappell has expanded the scheme to pull in more black women science mentors and introduce classes to teach the girls about resilience and establishing boundaries. As a young black woman, you need a range of tools to succeed in the workplace, and we want to equip the girls for more than academic success, she says. More than 160 girls have expressed interest to take part in classes for 2022, and Cynthia hopes to scale this further throughout the country. Inner city urban communities allow for creativity, she says. We have more noise, more pollution, more people. So we find creative solutions to problems. Our communities have created some of the best music and fashion. We also have the greatest scientific minds given the opportunity. Ms. Chappell also wants to change the inaccessible reputation of science. We look at science as something very elite, which only a few people can learn, and that's just not true, she says. early in giving kids a foundation, and kids live up to or down to our expectations. Now, one of the reasons I started thinking about this when BGS Imore talked about we need more black doctors, because for all the mistreatment that black people go through in the medical field, a lot of it is that there's not enough black doctors, so people are forced to deal with white and non-black doctors. So we need to encourage more black youth to go into STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, mechanics. And from what she was saying, she said a particularly good black teacher. So that's one of the things. And it goes back to what I said in some of our other posts. Is sending these kids to these public schools, which are run by white teachers, particularly white females, where they often emotionally abuse and use their Karen power to use cops to school cops to beat and exclude them, or have them put in special education where they prescribe Ritalin and mentally and emotionally castrated to become useless, is not in their best interest. They need to be put in either a black school with black teachers, male and female, who understand their life experiences and push them towards their potential, or educated at home. These public schools are failure factories. And also, it's also about outside schools. A lot of these kids cannot become educated if they're simply dumped at school and then come home to unproductive environments. So educating these kids about science needs to begin at home, whether we're trying to get kids involved in repair or problem solving, or taking them to science museums, or possibly giving them, I don't know, toys that focus on science and mechanics and trying to solve those problems. Maybe even, what's that toy that you have to lift out the little bones from the board game, and if you get it wrong, that could be a way to start black children onto becoming doctors. But anyway, I've gone on long enough, but the basic message is more black children need to be encouraged into these STEM fields. So if you would like to support this channel, I'll leave my cash app. You want to follow me on Instagram, I'll leave that there as well. You want to buy one of my t-shirts, I'll leave that there as well. I'm also now an affiliate for Champ Boxers, so if you want to buy black-owned boxers, click on the link for a discount, and you can sub to my backup channel, both of them in the pinned link. Thank you.